What's happening, players? I had a technical difficulty, so I lost like the first 10 minutes of the pod, so I was just going to jump in straight away. The guest is Rocky Oliveira. He is the head chef of Pirate Life. Hope you enjoy.
And get a good feed with you and your family, or you can come down and grab a burger with a mate. And we just try to keep the place pretty open and a very welcoming place.
It's very, very, very well done.
Yeah.
And yeah, how often do you redo the menu?
Probably usually seasonal. So that last change that we did with the menu, it was a pretty big change for us. We changed it up a little bit. And that was just before Christmas. And then, next couple of days we'll rejig. So usually we just take a couple dishes out and then try and change with the season a little bit. So now, kind of like summer's starting now, we haven't really had anything that's been brutally hot, and now we're kind of getting that a little bit. So there's a couple dishes there. We just need to tweak a little bit to make it a little bit more fresh and just be a bit more seasonal like that. And then we'll probably look to change again, probably around April mark going into winter. Because there's another one there where you just have to change up again, and then look to again in spring time and change it up and do specials and do some cool shit, man. So that's the plan.
That's just the aim of good food, doing cool shit.
Yeah.
Now we did have some sort of technical difficulty, but I'm pretty sure it recorded and it just stopped for like a brief fucking minute or two.
Yep.
But just so I'm recapping, this is Rocky Oliveira, just in case.
just in case you didn't hear it.
Just in case I didn't see it, because this does happen sometimes. Rocky Oliveira, head chef of Pirate Life, Lucky Lapita's dope old restaurant. We were talking about some good restaurants in Adelaide.
Yep.
You're up to speed now.
Pretty much.
Nothing crazy's happened yet, so it's all right if it did cut off.
Yeah.
Fucking podcast, man. I don't know. Did you finish school?
Yeah. Yes.
You did?
Yes.
I did not.
Okay.
So I did not even know how to use a computer.
I mean, I think we're all trying to figure out how to learn how to use a computer, bro. I mean, growing up, I learned PS1 and PS2. That was pretty much it. And before that, it was Super Mario Brothers and everything else that came with that. That was it. My computer fucking whiz. You seem
like you're pretty level-headed for a chef. Did you go through a chef phase though when you were younger? Because we're all a bit.
Oh, I think it's.
Were you ever a big partier?
Yeah, we gave it a nudge, man.
You gave it a nudge.
Yeah, we all it's just you'll kind of go down that road, and then I think the problem with hospitality, and especially being a chef, and then sometimes being a chef and then getting an opportunity to run a kitchen and run something, and you're the man, you kind of get this inflated ego a bit,
you do really need to learn how to manage people properly.
Exactly. And you got to learn to manage yourself, you know what I mean, and I'm still trying to do that now and trying to become better at that. But yeah, you definitely have a time there where you think, oh man, I'm king. Look at me, I'm fucking running a restaurant. It's fucking going good. I'm doing good food, man. And then with that comes notoriety, and that notoriety is just at the end of the day, man, I'm just cooking food, bro. I'm not fucking
saving the world.
I'm not curing cancer.
That's one thing about modern food. That's one thing, because I've left that in. I still work with food, but I don't work in fine dining or anything anymore, because I just fell so out of love with it, because it became this thing where people would think that they're fucking literally curing cancer when they're cooking.
Yeah.
And it's I fell so out of love with food because of fine dining. It just got so fucking pretentious, and it was I'm not even cooking anymore. It's not even cooking to a certain point.
Yeah, you're right, man. It changed.
I'm not shitting on that level of cooking, because it's it's a top 1% thing. You have to be a freak to cook in some of these restaurants. But
100%.
But it gets to a point where you're not cooking.
Yeah.
You're a fucking little bit of a scientist, and a little bit of you're very strict. There's no room for error. So everything's so precise. There's no heart in it almost.
Yeah. The precision will come from just the compete repetitiveness.
Yes.
You could probably work in the same section. If crew don't understand the makeup of kitchen, basically you got sections, and you have your section, and say it's the larder or something, and you basically do that same thing for a year or maybe even 2. You know what I mean? And that's how long the yards are until you can actually kind of move up. Whereas it's probably different now, where crew want stuff a little bit faster. But my first job when I worked at the melting pot back in the day, it was I worked on the larder section, and that was it.
You worked at the melting pot?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a throwback, dude.
Yeah, man.
That was one of the first really high-level restaurants in Adelaide, I'd say.
Yeah, it was a time, man. Like, yeah.
That was in Hyde Park, yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic. They were open when I was working at Osteria.
Okay.
We went there a few times.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Well, like, yeah, that's where I started at the convention center and did like numbers and kind of got a bit of a feel for it. But then with cooking and then like looked at it and I went, you know what, man, like there's another avenue for me to go down and try and push myself.
It's a different skill set.
Yeah.
It's like when you go from like I went from high volume Italian, which was Osteria, which was nice high volume Italian, which I think is perfect for pan work.
Yep.
Time management prep wise because you just got to prep and it was pretty high intensity volume prep.
Yep.
But then I went to Jolly's.
Yeah, right.
Jolly's.
When Tony Carroll was there.
When Carroll was there. I loved it.
Yeah.
He was a very fucking hard man.
Yeah.
Like, very intimidating. He would break you down some days.
Yeah.
But it gives me goosebumps thinking of that kitchen. It was just so... When it went right, it was so fun.
Yeah.
But when it went wrong, it was horrible.
Yeah, right.
But he was very, like, on you. Like, don't make the same mistake twice. That's just what I ask. You can make a mistake. Please don't fucking make it twice.
Yeah.
And I respected it. We butchered all of our own meat, filleted all our own fish. It was a very different style of kitchen to what I was used to. Totally different thing. There's such a different subgenre of cooking, much as Melting Pot would have been to the convention centre.
Yeah, man, big time, like a big eye opener.
You think you're the man because you get good at that job, and then you're fucking the small fish again.
Yeah, and you're right at the back, back at the bottom, and that was good, man. It's humbling, and it's also, I think it showed me there where I was like, you got to start from the bottom again and just go back to basics, and that's what I had to do. And a little restaurant's completely different to a big corporate kind of place. You know, well, structure. This place is like you got to fend for your own, and you got to make do, and you got to get it done.
People are going to try and sabotage you and shit sometimes.
Yeah, well, I was lucky, man. Like my kitchen was like it was three of us.
Pretty
the head
good.
chef, the sous chef, and myself. And so my job was larder, desserts, and every single dish that came into that place. And we had enough plates to do enough.
And then you got to wash them.
Yeah. So you're running low and like, oh shit, man, I got to get that load through. And then like the chef's yelling, he's like, I need those main course plates washed. You're like, shit, man, I'm trying to serve this fucking souffle, bro. But I need a fucking plate for that as well. And like, it just kept you on your toes. It kept you going. It kept you fucking thinking about the process going forward. Whereas, and I think now a lot of people think, do service and then just think about going home. It's like, I never ever in that kitchen thought about going home. Like I'd be working, I'm like, okay, what's next? And then go, what's next? And then, okay, well, how do I think about tomorrow and get myself in a better place? Because like
it was a team, because it's different. Like what you said, when you're in and you also get a lot more opportunity in those small kitchens.
Yeah.
At Osteria, I was really blessed because my friend was working there as a chef. He's older than me. He's about your age.
Yep.
Chabelle. He worked with all of these boys at Amalfi.
Yeah, right.
Amalfi was another kitchen that was just fucking chaos.
Man, the amount of food that... Man, I think that...
Fucking the kitchen's as big as this table. And
just
they do 500 covers during Fringe.
You see a dude just disappear in the roof. And then like in the you look down and they're in the basement and shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a crazy space, man.
It's a weird kitchen.
But it works.
But they all migrated to Osteria. So the head chef of Osteria was Adam Zolo, and he did his apprenticeship at... Amalfi, and Jeff Bell was there. He did his apprenticeship at Amalfi, and my mate Chabelle was there. And I was like 15, and Chabelle knew I wanted to be a chef, and I was still in school. And he's like, we this restaurant's opened, and it's just fucking exploded, and we don't have enough people. Do you want to come just make salads tonight? And I was like, yeah. And that day after the shift, Adam's like, you want an apprenticeship? And I was like, yeah, I'm leaving school tomorrow. I left school. Left school the next day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then I moved to Jolly's. Finished my apprenticeship at Jolly's. Then I moved to the Star of Greece. Then I moved to this restaurant. It was a resort in Sydney called Wolgan Valley.
Okay.
Emirates owned it, and it was in the basin of the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, nice.
The fucking food there was like the most holy shit moment of my life. That was when I was like, oh, this place could have 3 Michelin stars.
Yeah, right.
But we were a resort, so we weren't susceptible to chef's hats.
Okay.
But the food there was like... It was stressful.
Yeah.
Like, it was a different stress. Menu changed every day, so you had to be 5 days ahead. We picked all our own fucking veg from the farm that was located on site. It was fucked. It was fun, but it was like... That killed me for fine dining.
Yeah.
It was just too much. I was like, nah, too young.
I think there's always that pivotal moment, like, with chefs and stuff where you kind of like... I suppose I've been doing it for long enough now where you kind of like... There's a couple, like... I don't know, shining moments where you kind of had to make some conscious decisions about the way you wanted to go, you know, and as a chef. And for me, it was like convention center, melting pot. Thought I was pretty good. I said, you know what? Because at that time, it was like the melting pot. It was like the Manse. It's McGill Estate.
Fuck, dude, the Manse. Yeah. No one even remembers the Manse. McGill Estate's still apparent. Yeah. I haven't been since they got taken over by their new owners like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But apparently they're still like the best.
Oh,
like,
they're still ticking away, doing really good things,
you
man.
just
like,
go there.
I'm the same, man. I don't really go out to that kind of eating a lot, but that back then when I was doing that, I was like, yeah, it was us. It was like melting pot.
It was you, Mance. It was Bistro Dom was really good at the time.
Duncan was there, and he was smashing out some fucking awesome food.
First dude to put ants on a fucking menu.
And the toilet was upstairs as well. Yeah. So like, because it was in that little building there, and then they were doing some really good. Lately, Ty was still at the Bridgewater Mill, and the Bridgewater Mill was fucking awesome. And the good part about it was I had a bit of an obsession to collecting fucking like menus. Like I have I've got this fucking I could send you I'll send you some photos.
Fuck.
So I got all these menus from like the Manse and the melting pot and all this shit back in the day. This is before social media. This is before saving shit. You know, we just print a new menu every day and that was it. It was gone. And we print another menu, gone. Print another menu, gone. And then you forget like the creme de la creme at the time was the Grange, and Chong Lu at the Grange at the Hilton was like, you know, another world shit. Like the guy was doing stuff like out of this fucking world in Adelaide. And I happened to work at the Hilton right at the end when the Grange finished up and actually taking over in Chong's office, and I had to like pack all his stuff up for him because he kind of just when he finished he just left, and there was all these old menus and stuff, and I just went to like my food and beverage manager at the time and the head chef said, well, I want to do all this stuff, man. Like he goes, box it up, put it to the side and we'll get it sorted. And then I like box it up, sort it up, put it to the side, sat there for like 3 or 4 months. I'm like, what are we going to do with it all, man? Because it's like taking up heaps of space. And they're like, you know what, man? Just make it disappear. And I'm like, can't, man. I can't make that shit disappear, bro. Like some of those menus there, they don't exist. Handwritten shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this stuff's like, should be like in some sort of fucking museum or something, man. So then at the time I contacted Simon Wilkinson, who was part of the Advertiser, and there's a Don Dunstan wing in the library where it's a hospitality like history of like South Australia, because that guy did a lot for hospitality in the state. Yeah. And gave him a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of it ended up there. To be honest, I haven't seen it there, but that's the he told me about it, and it's like Don Dunstan wing or something like that, and it was like a bit of a like hospitality kind of thing, because some of the stuff like I have in my possession is like gold, because people like now they just go online or they go on every.
Bro, if I could see a Manse menu,
I'll send it to you.
I would fucking freak. I went to Manse like once.
Had the little like fucking like little like calligraphy at the bottom, and I remember like it was at the time it was Tim Montgomery who was running it, and then a mate of mine who was working there, he's no longer with us, and Malcolm Cocking was like working there, and then another guy called Lockie Cole who's in Tasmania now, great chef, and I remember like eating the food, and I remember taking the menu home, and I remember looking at it going like you're not gonna like, this is not something that you'll in 10 years time it won't be there. Same with the melting pot menus as well, and like
bro, I would fuck a melting pot menu would be wild. Yeah. Manse, like you said, Manse, fucking Bistro Dom, McGill Estate, an old McGill Estate menu. This is also when kind of the molecular kind of thing was coming on the scene, so everyone was trying out new shit. Yeah. And it's funny because when you like do your apprenticeships with these people, you always see, it's weird seeing how everyone branches off, and you're like, oh my god, I used to work with that guy, now he's got a dope restaurant. Like my mate Cow, I did my apprenticeship with him, and he was the head chef at Fugazi for years, and now he just broke off, and now he's got Mensa. Yeah, he's good mates with some crew I know. Yeah, he's just killing it. He's just killing it he's always been very good at Italian, like just traditional, but with modern kind of esque twists, modern techniques. But it's weird, like you do your apprenticeships with these people, and then you see them just branch off, and it's cool. Yeah,
they kind of like, we all in a huddle, and then like you said, like we all kind of start finding niches.
Yeah,
and that's what it's about, man. Like you're going to do it for a long time. You're going to do a lot of the hours, and you're going to do a lot of work, and you got to try to find your niche, because like for me, it's like after the melting pot, I said, you know what, I'm going to give this a fair fucking nudge. I want to be the fucking best I can be. So I moved to Melbourne, and I went and worked at Vudamon.
You worked at the VU.
Yeah, I tried. Let me say, I tried to work at the VU.
One of my like chefs I worked with, the sous chef at Jolly's at the time, Chris, I believe. Yeah, Chris. He did his whole apprenticeship at the VU.
Jesus.
He fucking was I've never seen a chef like him ever.
Yeah,
ever.
Mate, I went there with a thought process of like maybe I could do something pretty good here, and then like I literally rolled in there and it was like just fucking tanks, man. And not just wasn't just a male kitchen. There were a couple chicks in there that were just fucking weapons, man. Like
it's hell like not degrading, but it is. It's like takes you down to
fucking oath, man. It humbled the fuck out of you,
That's
man.
How I felt when I
walked in there and I went, yeah, and I went, shut the fuck up and just listen, because even if you can take 10% out of this place, man, you're gonna be fucking better for it. And I really, really fucking wanted to do good, but I wasn't good enough. Like, that's how it was.
And do you know what? With cooking, like, I really feel like it should be mandatory to work in a kitchen for a year, like army service. You'll learn a lot about yourself. I'd go home from Jolly's sometimes in those first few months crying. Like, I'd cry on my way home. I'd be like, I'm not fucking good enough to do this. Like, I'm just not good enough. And then when I went to Sydney, I'd fucking sit in my room and I'd just fucking cry and I'd be like, why aren't I good enough to fucking do this?
Yeah.
But I just persevered, and eventually you kind of catch up.
Yeah.
But there are some people in kitchens, it's like high-level athleticism.
Yep.
When you're a very good high schooler at football, and then you go on a field with it, like they just stick you in with Port Power.
Yeah.
Like, you're just not that good.
Yeah.
Like, there are some people in kitchens, like watching Chris from VU, he was just, like, incredible. What my superior in Sydney, one of them, he was German. He was Swedish. He was a CDP and a sous chef for, oh my God, El Bulli.
Jesus.
And he worked with Noma for years. And it's just like, I'm just never going to be you. You are the top 1%.
Yep.
Ever. Like, it's just different. Just such different. And being a chef in Europe, you have such a... European chefs are so different to us.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle over there.
Big time. Big time. I think like the most important... The thing with me when I went into that Verdemont kitchen and try to find a place, and then you like talk to the guys and like no one there, like they're all fucking crazy. All right? They're all fucking crazy, you know, like they drink a lot, they party, they fucking go hard, but they can back it up. Or, you know, they can definitely back it up. And like guys there trained with like fucking like Marco Pierre White, Pierre Kaufman, Gordon Ramsay. Like these guys are fucking trained with their 1%. There's people that you talk about being involved in that 1%, and then there's guys that are like the pinnacle. Like they are the fucking pinnacle. And you watch these guys break down a fish and it's just gone. You're like,
it makes you feel like a dickhead.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck happened there, bro?
No
like,
wastage,
what the fuck,
nothing.
man? Like, just gone.
Yeah.
You know. And then like, I remember like on a Friday, and we used to do like like pig's trotter, and I boned out this pig's trotter, and he looked at it, Shannon looked at it and goes, yeah, that's no good, man. There's holes in it. I said, oh, okay, I'll start again. And then like Ryan Cliff, who was the head chef at the time, he came in and he fucking did this fucking thing. It took me about 2 minutes to do one. He did one in about 30 seconds. Just fucking smack. And it was done. I'm like... And it's one of those ones where, like, in the Wolf of Wall Street, where, you like, you know, he sells that stock to that guy, and they just look at him going, how the fuck did you do that? That's what I fucking kind of stood. I went, how the fuck did you do that, man? Like, he used the knife for, like, 10 seconds, and he just basically just fucking tore the thing apart. And I was like... And then that was like savage, man. That was a savage moment for me where I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going to have to be fucking on here every fucking day.
Even just knife skills, I'm sure after because Convention Centre would have been perfect for quick knife skills. And then you would have moved to Melting Pot and you would have learned some new skills. But then you moved to VU and you realise how shit your knife skills are compared to other people.
I just realised, man, how shit I was in general, man. Yeah. I thought I was like pretty fucking good. And then you're like, nah. And then you just having to like sacrifice. My mentality was you sacrifice your time to get better. So like if you weren't good enough, you came in earlier to get your shit done so you could get to the same place where everyone was.
So at Jolly's, I would get to work an hour and a half early every day.
Yeah.
Just because, I would use my breaks. Tony Carroll was like, I'm not going to pay you to learn shit you don't know. So if you don't know how to break down a 4-quarter, or I mean, like a hind quarter of beef, stay on your break. Just stay on your break and watch me do it. I'll do it for you.
Yep.
Just watch. And I would do that. But then there's always that fucking, I don't know about you, there's always been one Asian in every kitchen that is just a superstar.
Oh, man.
And it's usually a woman. There's always one woman Asian who's a freak at desserts and is just a gun.
Yep.
Every kitchen, they're so good. Best chefs I've ever worked with have all been Asian.
They've got a touch about them, man, and they've got this ability to be able to like
Just their time management.
Man, and like they got finesse. And like one of the other chefs I remember working with, like at Verdamon, where I had a couple Asian crew working in the pastry section. And he goes, "Oh, Asian chefs make some really fucking good pastry chefs."
They do.
And
Best
I'm like,
pastry chefs in the world.
And I said to him, I said, "What the fuck, man? Like what?" And he goes, "Man, our hands, they get hot. We get hot. We got hot, warm-blooded animals, man. We touch shit and shit goes to shit."
Yeah.
They somehow manage to just keep cool the whole time.
They're never flustered.
Yeah.
You never see them flustered, ever.
You see, you grab yourself like chocolate or something and you need to like temper it, and for them it's perfect, and you've already gone way too far over. You're like, what the fuck, man? It's just your hands, man. Like, you have to make shit and you got to keep putting your hand on like I remember making chocolates at Verdamon. I had to keep putting my hand on a fucking like, on a bowl that had ice on it to try and keep my hands cold. And then like, they're just there like rolling, making it. And I'm standing there like, fuck, man, like I'm already behind, and it's not even my skill set, man. It's just my fucking, I don't even know what the fuck that is, man. Like
It's unfair.
It's just unfair,
It's
man.
biology.
Like, it's fucked. But man. Like you just, I think you always find these niches and people that always stick in your head, and you're just like, wow, like you can't imagine like how fucking good they are, and they're just fucking so good at it, and it just seems so fucking easy for them.
I'm doing up a series. I bought a vlogging camera,
Okay.
and I'm gonna do a series for my YouTube channel where I try and get into the best restaurants currently in Adelaide and do a rockstar shift.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good old rockstar shift. I've done a
wanna-
couple of those in my time, that's for sure.
I love a fucking rockstar shift. You're allowed to drink a little bit more than normal.
Yeah.
But I've been talking to the owner of and head chef of Nina.
Yeah.
And
Leo, yeah, good man, Leo, yeah,
I did a podcast with Leo.
Yeah, sick.
And
I did see that.
I'm gonna do a rockstar shift at Nina to start it off.
Fucking oath, man. It's a good little tight little kitchen there. They do some really good food, man.
I like tight kitchens. So Star of Greece was like the smallest kitchen I've ever worked in.
Yeah.
That place is fucking half the size of this shed,
Yeah, right.
but it's so functional.
The melting pot kitchen was about up to there.
Yeah,
It was just square,
yeah,
man.
but
It
it's
was
very
like,
functional.
yes, because you had to be really fucking good with time management and your space. And you'd use every single fucking ledge, every single fucking box. There was a box of wine came in, like wine delivery usually come in on Wednesday. Sick. That's 2 more fucking places where I can put shit, And then as the week goes on, you're like, all right, I've lost those 2 boxes. Now I've got to find somewhere else. And the fridge was like, okay, managed perfectly. And I'd have my fucking containers bricked in and then put something at the top there. And yeah, there are fucking good times, man. Like fucking like,
It's just fun. It's fun. I don't. If I had a kid and he said he wanted to be a chef, I don't know if I'd push him into it.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat.
But
yeah.
it is for a young man. If you envelop yourself in that lifestyle,
Yep.
and you really have to, it can go one of 2 ways. It can be really fun and good, or you can go down a really fucking dark path.
And
I've seen so many people go down. I used to get so loose, I still do. I have it in me to get very loose. But in a kitchen, it's rewarded.
Yeah.
Like after work, it's rewarded to get loose. And then I always pull up well, always rock up to work. It never affected my work.
Yep.
But you can see those people who go down a really fucking scary dark path with cooking.
I think like it's sad because there's a very dark underbelly to
It's
it.
fucking
you know what I
terrible.
mean?
It's a very hard way to make money. It's very strenuous on your brain, and
Yep.
it might seem trivial because it is. It's just food, but at the time, it's your whole life.
I think that's what it is, man. Like you put everything into what you do, and then you put genuine passion into it. And I think sometimes people can mistake passion for anger. You know what I mean? Like because you're fiery and you want it to be the best, but you're putting your reputation, but also all your time and all your effort into what you're doing. You know what I mean? And you want it to be the best it possibly can be, because you can, in our role, man, and what we do as chefs, and especially when you lead and run kitchens and stuff, is that you put yourself right out there. You put yourself at the scrutiny of people you work with, the customer, Everyone, man. And if you have a good day, man, bosh. And if you don't, man, like it can really fucking affect you so hard. And it's something that I've had to learn to become better at and still continue to try and become better at and work my way through, because you just can't pent it up. You just can't keep holding on to it, because you just keep getting to that place. And like you said, man, I've seen a lot of friends over the years that have gone down some pretty bad paths, and some of them are
there's a massive drug problem. Massive drug problem in kitchens.
Yep.
Like, and fucking some of them get out of control.
Yep.
Because it fucking can kill you, kitchens. Like, it's so, like I said before, I'd drive home some nights and just fucking bawl my eyes out just for trivial shit. Like, when you look back at it, you're like, it's a fish. Like,
yeah, for sure.
But at the time, that fish is the most important thing.
Yeah.
That fish is holding up everyone else.
I think like that's the ones there you hold off, and then like I remember like the same, like just having a cry about something, because like I had a fucking wicked service and I fucked up the desserts on the last fucking table of the night, man.
This is the worst. You're the biggest dickhead of the year.
I'm an absolute cunt.
Yeah.
I cooked the desserts, I fucked them, and then I was so fucking onto it that I made exactly the amount, never gave myself some leeway, and then I'm like, I fucked them and I had nothing else. And then I'm just like...
And that feeling of that instant heat you get in your head, and
the heat around here, the fucking feeling in your fucking stomach.
Your
like
shoulders physically get heavy.
Drop.
Yeah.
And then you're automatically thinking yourself, I'm going to get fucking
You gotta tell
I've got to fucking tell the chef, hey chef, and he's already like winding down, because he's usually on the hot section. He's running the pass and doing the hot section, and he's waiting, and he's like, 2 packs, Rocky, 2-pack dessert. And I'm like, and it's a bit of silence.
4 minutes.
And you're like, and then when he heard the he's like, are you in the fucking shit? Are you in the shit? Do you need me to get you out of the shit? I remember this, and I'm like,
oh, that fucking gives me PTSD.
And I'm like, yeah, man, like I fucked up. I fucked up bad. And I think that's one of the most important lessons, because I have to
be honest.
Front up straight away. Don't try and fucking cover it up.
It'll be over quick.
Because it will be over quick, but people can help you, but they will let you know about it. You know, like that's how the kitchens were. It's different now, and like, you know, like my kitchen that I have now, I'm very lucky. I've got a stable team of people, and they're very, very, a lot older. I don't have a lot of...
What's the work-life balance these days in a kitchen?
Work-life balance are way a lot better, man. Like
really?
100%.
I was fucking working like 90, 100-hour weeks at Jolly's.
Nah, it's not like that anymore, man. People
really?
like, no. Usually, probably most of the time, my guys would do like, maybe 3 nights a week.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's fucking not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, man. Like, it's good because it is, but that's probably why we got my team has been pretty stable, because we've been able to manage them and be able to give them the things that, and I think that's what it was, because cooking back in the day took everything. It took everything. It even took your friends.
Yeah, like
everything.
You didn't have mates.
You didn't have mates.
If they weren't in hospo, they didn't understand, you lost them.
And if you had a partner and she wasn't in hospo,
gone.
They're gone. And your family don't understand. And hey, we got a birthday coming up.
Can't go.
Oh, I got this coming up. Can't go. Saturday night. And they're like, we'll just ask for it off. I say, man, motherfucker, man, I'm in a 3-person team. There is no buffer. The kitchen is so small and the business is so small. We don't have 5
calling in
chefs.
sick. Imagine. Can you imagine? Can you imagine calling up and going, I can't come into work. Feel a bit sick.
Yeah, like you're in a 3-person operation and you come out of it, you're like fucking like 35% of the workforce is gone. And then like, and yeah, it's you know, like I said, it's different now because I'm in a different situation and I've learned from that. But back then, man, like you just kind of like, you didn't want to put anyone in the shit, man, because then you fucking felt it, man. Like you felt it, and it wasn't a nice feeling to have. But in saying that, I thought I was quite lucky, man. I didn't really get sick that much, maybe because I was so fucking busy.
Nah, you don't. No, honestly, you don't. You just don't get sick. You don't have the time to. And if you do, you're so used to feeling like shit and run down all the time. It's just a normal feeling.
Yeah, you just keep pushing through and persevering, and that builds resilience. But then a lot of the time I found that when that happened, and then like there was time coming off, like would close over Christmas or something, that week after, I just bang
plateau,
like get sick or fucking like just be in the doldrums. I'm like, fuck is wrong with me, man? Like, and then like I remember a chef saying to me, he goes, man, this work for you is a drug.
You're running at such a high constantly.
And if you take that away and you've got nothing there, you go from zero and then you go smack, that's where the withdrawal comes. That is a genuine withdrawal symptom that you have right now. And I'm like,
there's nothing better than when a service is going right.
Oh,
Like,
man.
do you know what I mean? When there's fucking... whether you're in a fine dining kitchen and it's for 50 covers, or you're in a high volume kitchen and there's 220 out there, when everything is just fucking going, it's just feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah, man, it just like flows and like
Banter, like everyone's talking shit. It's fun. It's when shit hits the fan. Like you said before, the honesty. Like with Tony Carroll, he was the scariest one because Tony is a very big, imposing man.
Man, I actually did boxing training with Tony.
He's a very big motherfucker.
That fucking hook of his, man, you'd have fucking put you on your ass.
Jolly's had a fucking turnover rate of staff like I've never seen, because Tony would either fire you because he just wouldn't take shit, or you wouldn't come back the next day. He would taste every fucking bit of food before it went out. Everything. Every single thing. If it didn't have enough salt, do it again. If it didn't have this, do it again. But he would bring you down to like this big, but then it would be over. He would never hold the grudge or whatever. Like, he would yell at you and then it would be over.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't hold it against you at all.
I think that's the thing. That's the key.
He'd give you a 6-pack after every shift, and we'd sit down and we'd drink, no matter what you did that day.
Yeah. It was a thing is like, I remember like people now, like, it's a different climate, it's a different place now. But like back, my time was like, you copped a bollocking, you copped it, you learnt from it, you moved on. And that's what it was. It was never personal. It was never ever personal.
That's how I performed though. Obviously, like I performed better when I got hammered. Like, because that's how things got through to me better.
Okay.
That's just how I learnt how to perform better.
Mine was more like a methodical process. I kind of like learnt the process, and then I just became so methodical into it. Like I'd be just
a rhythm.
I was all about the rhythm and making sure that, I want to be by 1:15, I'm here. By 2:30, here. 3:30, I got to get staff meal up for dinner.
Fucking staffies. Staffies fucked me. Staffies at Jolly's fucked me so many times.
So we only had three people in the kitchen, so I'd be like, Rocky, you're on staffy. And it was the worst at the start of the week because it was fucking nothing, man. There was like nothing. You're like, where the fuck, what am I doing? They're like, oh, here you go, bit of lamb, here's some peas and some pasta. And you're like, fuck, all right, I got to come up with something. So I suppose that was a good part of it because I was good at like creating something from nothing, you know. And then also like my prep and my ordering would factor that in. I'm like, I know I'm up for at least 2 staff meals before. We were lucky enough we had Melt Pizzeria next door, so we'd get pizzas.
Is Melt still going?
Yeah.
Melt. Back when Melting Pot and everything was open, was hands down the best pizza in Adelaide.
Man, it was one of the first ones.
It was. It would have had to have been the first one that was doing pizza, like good pizza. Now you got Pizza Tech, and now you got like all of like Chico Palms and all this shit.
Yeah.
But Melt was the first one.
And I remember like, and it had like good pizza, good wine, and just a fucking vibe, man. I remember that place like, you'd just be fucking going off like all the time, man. It was so busy, man.
Very
like,
good.
Every day. But then it became busy, and then had the culture of like after like having drinks and just having a good time, because that's like, it becomes your family, you know? Like, you probably see the people you work with more than you see your family.
Way more.
You know, and then you create friendships, and there's some of the friendships that I have now still to this day, because we've been through so much, you know, and so many services and so many things, and seen so many things and learnt so many things, and that bond and that friendship will never break. You'll never see him for 10 years, and then when you see him, it's just like you saw him yesterday. And you just start talking to him again like it's nothing. You know, it's like, what's going on, man? How's things? And, you know, you just keep rolling, man. That's
I actually seen Tony, like, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. He left Jolly's and he took over for Fishbank.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard that, because I heard Fishbank was a bit rocky at the start, and I like left it off a bit, and then I heard Tony took over, and I was like, okay, I have to go, because I know Tony knows how to fucking cook fish.
Yeah.
Like, I just know that the food's going to be good.
Yeah.
As soon as you go there, I would have closed my eyes when I was eating that food, and I would have known that Tony was the one behind it.
Yeah.
It was just perfectly seasoned. His food was like almost a bit over seasoned, but on purpose. Like, it was just, it was very Jolly's-esque. It was nice.
I think they've now I saw Tony. He's actually good friends with a guy called a guy I did a lot of my training with, Jordan Theodoros, and I saw him at the pub one night, and I think Tony's I don't think Fishbank's a thing anymore.
No, they're not. I don't believe so.
I think he's doing some like working in a aged care kind of facility.
Tony,
I think so. Yeah.
Tony, he's working in aged care. You're not fast enough.
So, but like anything, man, the guy's done his fucking yards.
He's done his dash, man.
Done his dash.
I remember the
did some good
first,
food.
not altercation, but the first time I realised this was not going to be very fun. Like, it was going to be different, was his thick fucking accent. Whenever he said service, it sounded like my name, Savis.
Yeah.
So he'd say, service, and I'd be like, yes, chef. And he'd be like, not you. I was like, oh, no.
So you've already fucking pissed him off, and it's just the start of service.
It's the first day. He keeps saying service. I don't know what the fuck his accent is.
Yeah.
His thick Welsh fucking whatever it is accent. And he just kept saying service. And I was like, yeah, chef. And he was like, he's like pulling me aside. He's like, you're fucking annoying me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
And I'd imagine too, like, and he'd just like, right, he'd just be raging, you going like, yes, chef. You're like, motherfucker, I didn't ask you nothing, man. You're just like fucking irritating me now. And you wait, and he's probably thinking, he'll fucking say it again, watch. He'll fucking do it. He'll do it. And you be like, and you just hear this, yes, chef. And he will fucking lose it, man. And yeah, it's like watching those like old Gordon Ramsay fucking ones, like, and even back in the day at like Harvey's and shit. And he just like, he's a maniac, man. Like some of the stuff.
Maybe a little bit put on, but I don't believe so. And people think like all these chefs like Gordon Ramsay and Marco Pierre White and all that aren't good chefs because they're celebrity chefs.
No.
They don't understand. Like, Gordon fucking top fucking 0.01% in the world.
Trained with the best. And also put himself in a situation to become the best. And I mean like going to work with Marco. I mean going to France. Not knowing the language,
learnt French,
and went into that thing.
Yeah.
And, he had an end goal, but he went there. That's fucking massive, man. Like, and he went there not knowing the language, and the English and the French don't love each other. So he would have fucking went into that kitchen, and they would have been like,
they would have hammered him.
He would have got caned every day, sabotages. People be like, yeah, no, man, our service at 6. It's actually at 5:30, and he's fucking half an hour behind.
Sabotage, bro. I remember I got sabotaged at Jolly's once. It was fucking annoying.
Oh, man.
I did all these because at Jolly's you'd have to pick. He was very particular, even if it wasn't the most efficient way to do something. He wanted you to do it that way.
Yeah,
because that's just how you did it.
Yeah,
we were picking fucking herbs and take fucking hours, dude, just to pick herbs. And I picked all my fucking herbs for my section. I've gone mid service into my fridge to get my backup of all my fucking herbs. Gone.
Oh no.
I've looked over at fucking my Sue and he's like. And I was like, you son of a fucking bitch. He's like gone and got him for his section, and I was like, can't say anything. What I'm gonna say? He stole my herbs. It sounds so trivial, but it's so annoying.
Oh man, like you just got to like cover logger, then like you're like, oh no, like what do I do? And like you actually literally can do nothing.
You got to pick them, you got to ice bath them, then you got to drain them, then you got to pat them dry.
Yeah,
it's literally a fucking 20-minute process just to get fucking Vietnamese mint. Like,
in the middle of service.
Yeah.
And you're trying not to fucking overcook that, or fucking making sure that you keep on top of your dockets, because if you haven't crossed something off, you'll make it again. And if fuck knows, if you put something on the pass that's already been done, you're not. Oh mate, that's not going to go well. That's not going to go well.
I'm going to go again. I was only going to have one, but I am going to go get another one. These new Pirate Life Japanese lagers are fucking delicious.
They are very, very good.
Delicious. Very good. I'll be back. One sec.
No worries. Fuck, it's fucking getting toasty down in the dirty south.
Do you come to the dirty south often?
Not a lot. But I actually, like, one of my best mates lives in McLaren Vale, so I suppose I roll down past this way a bit.
The South's food scene's very interesting.
Is it?
Yeah, because we don't have ethnic diversity down here.
Yeah.
So we don't have say Prospect or Port Adelaide or the northern suburbs would kind of have food-wise. Like, we don't have any Afghan down here. We don't have any African food.
Yep.
The Asian food's very westernized. Like, we don't have any traditional Vietnamese or anything. Like, it's not like Arndale, nothing like Arndale.
Yeah, right.
But in the wine region, like McLaren Vale and shit, I reckon we got some of the best restaurants in Adelaide now.
Great fucking spot, man, yeah. I love it down there.
It's insane now. And that's the thing about Adelaide. Adelaide's always had really good food. You just used to have to find it a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, fucking the average person would not even know what the Manse is.
No.
Or Melting Pot, maybe. Melting Pot was probably a little bit more mainstream. McGill Estate, no one would fucking know what that was like back in the day. You just didn't eat there unless you were in the scene.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like there's a lot more good food.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more available.
There's a lot more available. It's easy to come across, you know, like you don't find hidden gems anymore because hidden gems are...
There still is some, but...
There is some, but then they get exposed. Instagram and everything like that. Back in the day, man, like you heard of a good restaurant and be like, yeah, no, get down to Dom, man, it's fucking sick. Because someone else in the industry said...
Bistro Dom, I guaranteed no one fucking even knows what that is, man. And Duncan is a fucking freak. He's a guru.
It was like Duncan, and then I think it was Andrew Davies after that, and the food was fucking so good, man. It was just like... I remember like we had our staff show there on a fucking Monday, because everyone's like in hospitality doesn't have staff shows on Saturday.
It's Monday.
And we don't have it in Christmas. So it's like Monday in January or February or something, and it was just like this fucking lunch we put on, man. I'll never forget it. And it just fucking kept rolling. Lunch started at 12 and it didn't... Lunch rolled into a little bit of dinner and then cocktails, and then I think we finished at about 3 in the morning. And then, you know,
and then everyone's got to go to work.
And then we got to go to work the next day. But it was a different time. But yeah, he was doing some fucking awesome food there, man. And then like even like you just think now about all that stuff, and like I will go look at those menus later on today because I know they are in a green folder sitting in my cupboard, and I'll flick you some through, man. But I've even got like old Grange ones. I've even got like some other stuff from like Nettie's, which was like Chong Lu's restaurant before he did the Grange, and this is all hand calligraphy, man. Like it's beautiful stuff on like this real fragile paper, and it's part of history, man, and I love that. But I love history. I'm a bit of a history guy, so you know.
Did you go to Botanic when Justin was there?
Yep. Yeah, when there.
I'm so upset I didn't
three times.
Go.
I think
so
I went
upset
there.
I didn't go.
Yeah, it was something else. That's
experience.
For sure. Yeah, an experience.
That's the highest level of fine dining.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, his new one's going to be fucking wild.
Yeah, well, I think it's up in the Adelaide Hills, isn't it?
Up in the Adelaide Hills at an old
church.
I think it's like going to be the most modern trend, obviously, not obviously, but the most modern trend in kind of fine dining now is you have different seating areas for different courses. So it's going to be like a walkthrough, like you have your starters and your like little tasting fucking like treats at the start, and then you walk over to your table, have your main food, then you might go have your desserts and stuff in another room.
Yeah, right.
It's like that's just what I've heard. I've heard
like very 11 Madison Park kind of style.
Well, that's where I'm pretty sure that's where he trained.
Yeah.
Which fucking, if you think you're not good at VU, imagine going to 11. No food, like I mean, no food, no meat, like full vegan menu, #1 restaurant in the world.
That's be fucking.
I don't know if I don't know about the top 50 rankings and shit.
I think it's a lot of it's like...
Yeah, it's definitely I know exactly. I don't know how to say it, but like the #1 restaurant in the world isn't the best restaurant in the world anymore.
No. I think the #1 restaurant in the world...
Shock factor and shit.
Yeah. It's got to tick. I reckon they go in with a mentality of it's got to tick all these boxes.
Sustainability, fucking ethical sourcing of food, blah, blah, blah.
And seem to be, you know, like doing the... you know, and then now it's like, even like you heard about the restaurant in like that restaurant of the year in like Melbourne, and they got their hats taken away because he was like being like terrible to his staff, and the good food guy stripped his
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I remember reading about that, and I was like, fucking good, man. Like, you know, but like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like...
I was supposed to move to Melbourne before I moved to Sydney.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I got a job at George Calumbaris' restaurant on Flinders. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. He's Ghazi.
Okay.
I think he's got a restaurant called Ghazi. I can't remember. But I went for a trial shift there, got the job, and then he told me how much I'd be earning, and I was like, oh, I couldn't afford rent.
Yeah.
Like, I would have to move in. I would have to move into the CBD with 9 people.
If I didn't live with my then partner, there's no like idea how I would be able to have like lived. Like, no way. I think I was getting like $500 a week or something like that. Rent was like $330 a week. And
I imagine the pay with cooking's a lot different now.
Yeah, it's, you know, like it's all right, you know, but like I sent you that thing, so you'd be able to fucking read through it
on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah, so you'd be able to have.
I'll be able to bring it up here.
So yeah, no, it's just a different, like, it's different now. But yeah, man, like you got guys who are like driving cranes for 300 grand a year. You know,
I was earning fucking at Jolly's. I was earning. Actually, Sydney was worse. Jolly's actually pay was pretty good. He used to pay award rates and shit, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't even know what he's like. You get award rates here, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah. So are you awarding me or like?
What do I? But then in Sydney, I was getting like 900 a week, but I was working, between 75 to 100 hours. Every week.
That's not any good, and that's not fun, and it's not right. It's not good for you, that's for sure.
That's how some of these big restaurants just are sustainable.
I think back in the day it was. Now it's a lot different.
Yeah,
100% has to be now because it's just the way it's gone. But and I think like that culture is what's probably holding back hospitality and people getting into hospitality now, because like that's the perception.
Moona.
Yeah.
Mooners don't have any hats anymore.
Apparently so, man. That's how it went down.
No shit. Interesting. That's fair. Some people did get away with treating people like absolute fucking animals for years.
And I think like that's what happened with our industry. So many people just kind of went, you know, fuck it, I'm out. And like how many chefs I know.
COVID.
Yeah.
It was
when COVID came along, everyone jumped off that wagon because they got other jobs. And they were getting paid more money.
And they were having nights, weekends off.
Exactly.
Like, is there still a shortage of chefs?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah. You got to go. It takes you a long time to find that one that you're looking for, you know? And it's such a process. Like, it is such a process. I didn't think it was, because a lot of the time people would say it, and early on I didn't find it to be a big thing. But then, like, yeah, probably the last, last year, 6 months, difficult, man. Difficult.
I've been umming and ahhing, jumping back in for years. But I like a very specific type of food now to cook.
Okay.
I just like cooking with fire. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I really enjoy.
Yeah, right.
I think everyone, now that I'm like 30, like above 30, you just like cooking with fire. I've always enjoyed it, coming from like a Greek background and stuff. But I feel like it's very popular now too.
Oh, it's massively popular. I mean, we got a massive like grill at Pirate Life, like it's huge. And,
bro, that kitchen's fucking phenomenal.
And the guys there, like, I fucking love it, man. Because like I think I said before to someone, I'm like, you're literally creating something every day. You're not turning on a deep fryer. And I have a deep fryer, don't get me wrong.
But building the fire is the funnest part.
Yeah. Because I took for granted at the start, where I'd just be like, 10 minutes to fucking just get the like flamethrower, blow it on there, it'll be done. But nah, man. Like, you know, like
it's a system.
It's a system and it's a process, and you got to be fucking good at it. One of my sous chef, Chris, who's cooked on a lot of farm. He worked at Gaucho's like 20 years, man. This guy's like,
shout out to Gaucho's, the original steakhouse of Adelaide.
Yeah, he worked there for like 20 years, man. Him with the fires, it's just beautiful to watch. I just stand there and I'm just watching him go, and he's just like fucking. He's
like an artist.
He's just an artist, man. You know what I mean? And like I said before, it's like something, you find your niche and you find your areas that you're good at, and this guy is a fucking genuine weapon when it comes to working with meat, when it comes to butchering it and working it down, but also cooking it, man, is a fucking beautiful thing to watch.
Are you Brazilian?
No, I'm my dad's Portuguese and my mum's Filipino.
Yeah, what a mixture of delicious food.
Yeah, we definitely get there is a bit of a mix.
No good Filipino in Adelaide.
Nah, there's one place in Port Adelaide.
I actually went there recently. That's because I got obsessed with this dish called sisig.
Okay.
And you like, traditionally they make it with a pig's head.
Yep.
And I enjoy like that texture because I grew up around it, like fatty, gelatinous textures, like cartilagey textures. I like cartilage, fat.
Yep.
And I just haven't found somewhere, like, you realise once you realise you can't find it in your area, you just have to kind of cook it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
See, it's like with me, it's like I ate a fair bit of like different, like I don't mind eating offal. I love offal. I love like sweetbreads. I love kidneys, you know, stuff. Love liver, you know, like I love liver, like just simply pan frying it. I remember like having a dish back in the day. It was just like polenta, creamy polenta, seared fucking livers, and just fucking Baldaspino, like glazed caramelized onions on the top, and it was just fucking perfect, man. I remember reading that, thinking, fuck, my man used to just grill the fuck out of this shit. And I just had to, he just squeeze lemon on it and go. And you'd be like, oh, okay. And he used to cook tripe and stuff like that.
I love tripe.
Mate, you try and put that, like, get people crew to eat that now, they're like, nah, you know, like people just, it's like, sacrilegious, you know, like people don't eat it. But then you can still get places where they'll cook a bit offal. Down at Glenelg at the fucking at the Barbecue Inn, like at Barbecue Inn, they have, like, I think they got livers on their menu as well. You can order it as a side.
Or Chinatown if you go on Goodger.
Yeah,
you might get some. But have you been to Japan?
I have not. No, I think I want to go next year, bruv.
The most insane culinary experience of all time ever.
I think that part there, everyone says to me, I would love it because I love fashion, I love sneakers.
Oh man,
and I love food.
Atmos. I had to buy another suitcase. I'm not a sneakerhead, but I love sneakers. But I'm not a sneakerhead. But
I fucking love it, man. I fucking love it.
Have you heard of Atmos?
Yes.
Yeah. Dude,
I got the Atmos Air Max ones at home. Oh, mate, when I pulled them out, snap, like, OGs.
They're so cheap.
OGs, snap necks, like, you know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, fuck, they know, you know what I mean? Like, when you see older crew and they see them, like, man, I fucking love that shit, man. Like, that's like fucking, like my outlet from cooking was like sneakers. Like, people be like, why are you fucking buying sneakers for? Blankets? Don't really drink that much. This is my fucking drug, bro. Like, I got it, you know, like, that's what I love, man. Like, I love that shit.
What's the greatest sneaker of all time? Maxes or
I do love it.
Air Forces.
I do love an Air. I do love a you know, like the Air Max 90 infrared. Like, it was a fucking classic shoe. Because like, I think for me, it's like certain shoes click because growing up, my mum and dad didn't have a lot of money, man. Like, they, you know, they were immigrants, they were working hard and whatever. And a pair of fucking shoes, man, would be like $180. That's a fucking shitload of money back in the early 90s, bro. Like, the fucking family, everyone ate. So I remember like going, I need to get those shoes, right? I'm like, I like to think I'm a bit of a hustler, man. I go, okay, how am I going to get it? Okay, cool. Man, it's footy club around the corner. They need someone to do the fucking, the scoreboard on a Saturday. I go, cool, walked around there. I went up to the guy, I said, I'll do it. $20, mate. No worries. And I saved my fucking money up. And I remember buying a pair of Jordan 6s. I wore these fucking things, man, until they literally fell off my fucking feet. There were holes on the bottom. It was fucking, I was wearing them at school. My socks would stink because all the water got underneath and shit, but I remember the first time I put them on and I rolled up to school, man, and you think with the chef stuff, you go, you're the man, but when you rolled in with a fresh pair of fucking Nikes, man, you're like, fucking, yeah, you know, and like, so my favourite shoe would be Jordan 1, the bread one, the original, man, like, and that's coming out again because it's 40 years, I don't even know, but they're coming out again, and I love it, man. It's just like, but oh, fuck,
bro,
man.
In Japan, Atmos it's so dope. I literally bought another suitcase and I just bought 6-7 pairs of shoes while I was over there. But I like TNs.
Yeah, right.
I've always liked TNs.
Yeah.
But they got Japan exclusives that you just can't get anywhere else. They got Atmos exclusives and they're just fucking dope. But the food, the culture of the food, I always say this, I left such a big piece of my heart in Japan.
Yeah, right.
It's just will never be the same. Just the food culture is fucking insane. It's just wild.
I think it's like what I've seen online, and this is going on Instagram and stuff, but they are fucking invested.
Oh,
it's their life.
It's just different. Like, same business, 500 years in the same family.
Yep.
So normal over there.
Yeah.
Same dish.
And the same guy's making it, and he's been making it for 50 years.
Same way. Yep. Like, same way as his dad's dad. It's just preservation of tradition over there. That's all that matters.
We unfortunately don't have that here. Like, it just isn't a generational thing, and it's, some places are still around that do food from back in the day, but they're going to be less and less and less. Like, you know, you go to, like, you see about these places in like New York, like, you know, they've been doing the same thing for 100 fucking years. You know, you're not going to get that here. We just don't have.
We don't have that culture yet.
Yeah, we don't have that culture, and like you said, like, our culture is so diverse. You know, and it's got so many different aspects. And I generally feel like some of the restaurants, like, especially, like, I feel like out west where I come from, man, I was real fucking lucky, man. Because I had Arndale and I had Hanson Road.
Arndale was fucking a gem.
I was, like, going there when I was a kid and, like, you know, people were like, who the fuck is pho?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, man, like, you got to get around this shit. It's the fucking best, man. Like, barbecues and fucking, you know, like, and all this stuff. And I was like, people were like, oh, what do you mean? Like, you know, and I'm like, oh, there's this restaurant called Ninak Guam. You should get there, man. It's fucking sick. It used to be in the back streets, but now it's like gone a little bit different now. But he used to be in the back streets. you had to be very careful about where you parked your car, because if you parked your car in a gap that was just perfect to fit your car in 2 driveways there, they used to just throw shit at your car. All right, this is Felden Park. Like, you know, the crew there don't give a fuck. They'll put rubbish bins in front of your shit, or they'd box you in. No wankers. But you just kind of knew the system there, you know, and you used to get there at fucking 5:30, and you went in and you ordered, and then when you were done, you left. And that was it. You know, it was like, you done? Yep. Bill, move. Next one came in. That's how it was. And he did this real cool pancake on a Sunday. But now it's like, you know, I don't know why. Kind of like, you know, like hospitality is one thing, but those guys about having hospitality, they'll treat you good, man. And then once you're finished, you move on and someone else has the opportunity instead of just lingering on a seat for like. I
love that about Asian cuisine. They like, especially in Chinatown and shit. Once you're done, you fucking leave.
Yeah.
Like East Taste and fucking Ying Chow. Like Ying Chow, worst customer service of all time, but it's also the best.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be there.
Yeah, they don't want you lingering, mate. They, you know, like people be like, oh, try and squeeze another beer out of them. Nah, they don't care about that. They're like, once you finished, you're on.
You're done.
And you're done. And like Ying Chow's like, I think the new crew now don't understand. No. Like for us, it's like, we had Ying Chow, man. That. It was like open to like 1:45, bro. You know, like on a
go
Friday
there
and
after
Saturday.
Work and go get some Ying Chow, have a beer, and then they tell you to fuck off.
Man, I fucking had Ying Chow 3 times in one day, bro.
Yeah.
All right, I had a Friday lunch there,
it's
and
amazing.
I went there for an early fucking dinner, and then my mates finished work and said, we're going to the Chow. I said, well, motherfucker, I'm coming. And we rocked up there at like 11:15 or something, had more food. So in 3 times in a day. That's like my claim to fame
Ying
about
Chow,
that place.
Ying Chow is literally such a staple of any hospo worker in the city's life.
Yeah. Like there's only that's, you know, but like now it's changed. They're not open as late anymore. Like they don't open a lot.
So I went to go there with my missus because she hadn't been before. I went to go there at like 11:30 and I didn't even look it up. I was like, oh, Ying Chow will be open. Like they're fucking open for ages. This was recently. This was within the last year.
Yeah.
And I went and they were fucking closed. And I was like, what the hell? They close at like midnight now. Or 11:30.
I think they close at like 10:30, bro.
It's fucking wild.
I remember the first time I went, same deal, man. I rocked up.
It used to be open at like 1. I swear it used to be open till 1 or 2.
And I remember like the best thing about Ying Chow was you'd be sitting there eating, and then the fucking chefs would just like a convoy of them would walk out to go have cigarettes, and you'd order your food, and you'd be like, who the fuck's cooking? Like where the fuck? They've all left, and somehow the food kept coming. Like, you know, like you just kind of like. And he'd always play games, be like, oh, which dish will come out first, you reckon? Like, you know, what are we doing here? Probably Isham beef today, I reckon, man. And then, yep, the beef will come out, 2 other things come out, then the rice, and it's just like, but it all came together. It always worked out, and it was always a good thing. But like I said, I did the same thing as you, bro. I rolled up there at like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, fuck, man, there must have been a fire or some shit. Like no fucking way, but
no,
yeah.
It's changed.
I think they had some issues with like a whole bunch of the places
licensing
there,
and stuff.
Yeah, and also like wages and all that, which is, you know,
fair.
That time. You know, like that time where people, I think, were getting like exploited, especially like people coming from China and working for nothing, and then I think they might have got exposed.
If you go to Japan, man, you're gonna love it. Do you know what you notice about Japan? You're like, people don't understand. Like even me, I didn't understand how good sushi could be. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You got a perception of how good it can be.
But you think sushi, you think vinegared rice, fish. Like, how good can it be? The sushi you can get in train stations in Japan is better than any restaurant in Australia.
Yeah, right.
Ever. Like, just ever. And I went to a fucking spot. I think they had 1 Michelin star.
Yeah.
I went there and I was like, just, what the fuck? Just 16 courses, just pick it up. It's like, as soon as he drops it there, you got to pick it up with your hand, you got to eat it. And it was just like mind-blowing. It's like, it's just literally fucking rice. But then it's like the knife that they're cutting it with, it's so clean.
Yeah,
everything's
clean,
just,
man.
Their technique is so clean. The way they cut it, it's like, it just breaks apart in your mouth perfectly. It's just wild.
They understand everything from like how clean it is, but also the texture and the
texture's the biggest thing in Japan.
Yeah,
like honestly, texture, the textures in Japan are wild. I'm a very textural person. I like textural food.
Yeah.
Their textures of their foods in Japan, they just know how to do it. Like, I don't think it's a very big Western thing.
Yep.
I think Western food's very flavor forward rather than texture.
Yeah.
But whereas when you start getting into Asian cultures, texture's fucking huge.
Big time. But, Japan and like even like places like, like Thailand,
Southeast Asia, everything. They just play on textures so well.
And you eat something and be like, oh, what is that? What is that crunch? And then you're like, oh, it's roasted rice. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But you know what I mean? Like they're just so textural. It's so fucking like flavoursome, but it's so fucking powerful, and it's just got texture, and it's just like, it's a pleasure to fucking eat, man. You know what I mean? And then when you do eat it, you kind of like respect where it comes from and the work and the ethic that comes to it, because it's hard to make good Thai food because you got to literally
Thai food's fucking really, really, really underrated.
Yeah.
It's not underrated. It's very popular.
Yeah, it's very popular, but it's like there's not that many places that do it
well.
But if you go to Sydney, like there's some places in Sydney that do Thai food, like and you watch them. They're making dressings to order. You know what I mean? They make their own fucking lime paste. They do it all, man. It's just such a labor-intensive thing that within our country, it's just something that is going to be very, very difficult to do on a decent scale because it just costs so much, man.
So also we don't grow it's hard because they just got such a different climate. Their ingredients are different.
Yeah. You don't have the same things. It's like with Dave Thompson closing Nam in London. He closed the restaurant not because it wasn't viable, not because it
can't get the ingredients.
Literally the ingredients were no good.
We're lucky in Australia because we do have Darwin. We do have Darwin and Queensland, so we can grow things, but then they're imported from those states, so it'll never be as fresh. I've never been to Darwin. Apparently, the Southeast Asian food in Darwin's wild.
Yeah, I've never been either, but I'd imagine it would be, especially
because they have the ingredients,
Yeah.
and apparently they got a massive community of Southeast Asian people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of those things, man, like when you get those immigrants coming in to certain areas, it just creates like that kind of vibe. And I was saying again, like with the western suburbs where I'm from, man, I've just got everything. I got Greek, I got Italian, and then I got like Cambodian and Vietnamese and Chinese, and like, so I was really like surrounded by food, and like I've always, like...
Was your family very like food forward? Like were they very traditional in their food?
A little bit. My mum and dad, they worked a lot. So I would always, basically, it was the weekends. Mum and dad pretty much worked all day and most of it into the night during the week, and then it was the weekend stuff. So, but I used to get looked after by a Vietnamese lady. So yeah, after school.
Oh, there's no better.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Vietnamese best cuisine Southeast Asian wise, and I've only just figured that out within the last like 3 or 4 years. That because there's no good. Besides Arndale, the good thing about a South boy going to Regency TAFE is you get exposed to Arndale. Oh. And my sister and my brother both moved to the West when they got married, and I'm 18 years younger than them. So I'd stay at their houses, and I got introduced to Vietnamese food. But since watching videos on YouTube and falling into like a little Vietnamese hole, their street food is untouchable.
Yep.
Their street food culture in Vietnam is fucking untouchable.
It's like, it's just the way...
It's a different thing. It's not just pho and dog rolls.
Nah.
Like, it's not. It's
not.
so much more
complexity, and it's got so much more to it because it's influenced by so much.
But they use one thing I respect about Asian cultures is much like Greek culture, they use fucking snout to tail, like all of it, and people are like, oh, that's gross, like they're using fucking this and this and that and intestines and this, like that's what they fucking have to eat to live, like, and they make it delicious.
Motherfucker, you haven't gone through war.
Anyone can fucking cook a Scotch fillet and make it delicious. Cook an intestine, you got to clean it for 4 hours.
But you're right, like they have to eat that, because like I said, some of those motherfuckers went through war.
How do we make this palatable?
Yeah, how do we make this good? What can we do with it? But that makes them ingenuitive. They come up with ways to do it.
And they fucking do it. Like, it's delicious. For people who don't eat offal and stuff, you're just missing out on fucking some of the best bits of the animal. So in Japan, obviously, yakitori is my number one food of all time. I love yakitori. Ramen in Japan, wild. Sushi, wild. Surprisingly, the best dish I had in Japan was a dish I'd never heard of, and I paid $6 for it. It's a dish called motsunabe. It's intestines. It's an intestine hot pot, but it's made in like a pork broth, and it's made with a shitload of garlic chives.
Okay.
But Japanese people have certain ways of cleaning offal, so there's no gaminess. Like, the way they clean things over there, It's literally like an intestine can be very abrasive if you don't clean it correctly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This hot pot was like, it was just delicious, chewy, fatty bits of pork. It just it just blew my mind. I was like, this is fucking. I've never had intestines like this.
And $6.
$6, and it was the best dish I had over there. And it was just because it was just how they clean things. They got so much attention to detail over there that everything's just spotless.
I think that's what it is, isn't it? Like you watch them make
with offal especially.
Yeah.
It has
you
to
watch
be
them when they
cared
make
for.
like shoyu and stuff like that. It's just the process, man. They're just like, they're methodical. They don't break it. They don't try and cut a corner because, I don't know, lunch break's coming up. They do it from A to fucking to Z.
There's no shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts.
No shortcuts over there.
That's why they are fucking amazing when it comes to food. And what they do with their kids as well is the same. I don't know if you've seen that on fucking Instagram, but like every school has to have a nutritionist. And
really?
Yeah. So apparently like...
Very thin country. When I went, you did not see many. And do you know what's weird in Japan? They got obviously vending machines everywhere with alcohol in them. Put that vending machine in Australia.
I'll see you later. Loose.
But like kids don't touch it.
Yeah.
They just... No. I'm not allowed to do that yet.
Yeah. I think they said like this thing I was like watching, it was like 45% of Americans are obese.
Australia's not far off either.
Yeah, probably not, but yeah, and then Japan, 4%.
Yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare to see.
Now, to have a teacher actually has to do an extra 3-year degree to be a nutritionist, and they have to come up with food for the kids to eat. They also teach them about food, but everything has to be made, nothing processed, not even pasted.
Do you have a preferred cuisine? Do you have one you've always kind of like had a...
Yeah, I probably had a bit of affinity to like Portuguese and like Spanish food.
There's fucking good Spanish. Like I remember my first exposure to proper one, Movida.
Yeah.
Movida Acqui specifically, but I remember I paid for a weekend. I went on a Thursday and I flew home on Monday when I was like 20, and I might have spent $4,000 on just food. I saved up to book into all these cool restaurants that I've heard of from Melbourne, because as a young chef back in the day, Melbourne was like the pinnacle of food.
Melbourne and Sydney do different, I think. Sydney are way more upper end.
Melbourne's a melting pot.
Yeah.
It's for traditional cuisine, I don't think there's anywhere better in the world where you can go and get Afghan food. Then you can go walk 10 steps and get Vietnamese food.
Yep.
Then you can go get the best fucking and you can do it till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It's just so available.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Movida and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Spanish food is so slept on.
Oh man, it's 100%, because I think everyone just thinks tapas. Like, oh, it's just tapas. It's just small bits of food, man. But like, I went to Spain last year, and man, fucking just like epitomizes of like keeping it simple and being respectful of the dish. You know, we went to certain areas and like tuna was their thing, or peppers was their thing,
Love it.
This was their thing, or like pork was their thing, or beef was their thing, and they just respect it, man.
Is there anywhere in Adelaide that's doing really nice high-end, like, kind of slinging Spanish food?
Nah, not really, not that I know.
It's weird because Spanish cuisine's got like, they're like one of the mothers of food besides France. They would have to hold more Michelin stars than almost any country in the world.
It's funny you say that because in the Basque region, in San Sebastian, I think there's more Michelin stars per capita than anywhere in the world.
There would have to be.
And there's some of the best chefs in Spain and in Europe. Most of them have a connection with San Sebastian. So apparently, men weren't allowed to cook up until like the 1950s or something, or the 1930s or something. Men were prohibited from cooking. They had these underground clubs. This guy was telling me. I'm serious, man, where men would go to cook because it was frowned upon that, no, that's a woman's job.
It's a bit gay.
Probably, yeah. They would look at it like that. It's not, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
You do this work, they do the food. And then like men would go to like these like clubs and cook. And so it's got this such an underlining fucking like culture to it that,
That's strange because Spanish cuisine I'd imagine, I didn't even know that fact, but I'd imagine that Spain would have to have the most Michelin stars out of almost any country per capita.
It's such a
and they've had the most prestigious. They had El Bulli. They had fucking like they have some of the most prestigious restaurants in the world ever of all time.
Because every area is so different. You know what I mean? Like every area, it does its thing. Like it does. Like you're the pork guy, you do pork. We ain't gonna fuck around with your pork. You do your pork, we'll do our beef. Everyone does their thing. Whereas in like no one crosses over. It's not like, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, like, oh yeah, you do beef. Oh well, fuck, we'll do it as well, but we'll do it our way. Nah, you guys are the best at it. You do it. You know what I mean? Like they make Basque cheesecakes in the Basque region. Is because it's the fucking best.
I'd actually love to know if I could give a quick Google of which country holds the most Michelin stars per capita.
Come on now, you're going to make me look bad if it's not Spain.
No, it probably won't be Spain, but I'd be very surprised.
I reckon it'll be right up there, man.
It would have to be.
Oh, France.
Yeah, but that's fucking dick riding right there.
660. Japan has 387.
Dude, Japan, you walk to a fucking side alley. You walk, it literally, fuck it, because I got the Michelin guide while I was in Japan.
Yep.
I was staying in a fucking bumfuck nowhere, and there'd be 2-3 restaurants always within 10 k's of me.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But they're always, in Japan, they're like, literally, like, somewhere you'd walk in Rundle Street and it'd be a front counter store with 4 seats.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Michelin guide is the same as it used to be.
It doesn't
hold as much weight as it used to.
Like anything,
it's a lot more,
I think a lot of it.
Like we were talking about the top 50.
Yep.
Like I remember. Have you been to Attica?
I have not. No.
Dude,
no.
I went when Attica was in the top 20.
Yeah, right.
It was fucking crazy. It was very good.
I remember like I did the like one of my first trips overseas, and I went to Spain, and like I was like. Everything I did was about food. So like I'll go somewhere and I'm going here. You know what I mean?
People don't understand when you're traveling for purely food. That's 100%.
All of that,
but that's kind of
people
all I
like,
travel for.
Did you go check out this mountain? I'm like,
no.
Was there a restaurant there? Like people think, oh, it's a bit snobby. It's like, nah, man, like it's just the experience for me. Like I'll go to eat at these restaurants. I remember going to San Sebastian for one day, one night because I wanted to go to Mugaritz and then I wanted to go to Artsac. So I went to Artsac for dinner, and then for lunch the next day I went to Mugaritz. And I remember having to walk pretty much for like 2 k's because I was fucking terrible, but for the food, but in the sense that I just ate so much.
Yeah.
And then it was one of those things too. You had main course inside, and then they finished dessert outside. It was just like one of these like central kind of things, and they had this. Oh, I'll never forget that, man. Never forget that. Same with like going to the French Laundry. I'll never forget that.
You went to the French Laundry?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. It was one of those ones I had to tick off the list, man. Like,
was this
like,
when is Keller still own it?
He still owns it. Yeah.
He still does.
Yeah. But I remember going there in 2008, and it wasn't open. It was closed for its annual holiday or whatever. And I remember going out in the garden across the road. All this stuff was there, and I was like, "Fucking wow, man! Like this is incredible. I've got to get to this restaurant." Went to Bushon instead. But yeah, I always said I've got to go to the French Laundry because like it's one of the first books I ever got. French Laundry, I think it was Marco Pierre White's like White Heat was right up there. I've still got the original one of that.
I got Heston's Fat Duck book inside.
So do I. Like with the case that you slide in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spilled a beer on it, but it's still. You can't get that shit anymore, man. Like that's first copies, man. Like that stuff's worth fucking money.
Those things were worth $300 back in the day.
Yeah.
Like Heston's, I fucking like. It's hard because he kind of almost ruined cuisine. Almost like
a little bit.
Almost like. But
he pushed it so far that they kind of just couldn't recognize it.
It's more the people that tried to emulate it.
Yeah.
Like, the person that does it well is fine with molecular gastronomy and all that kind of jazz. Like,
yeah.
But the people that don't do it well but try to replicate it, it's just a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you would have seen Chef's Table.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, what's the restaurant? The chef, is it the bloke that got tongue cancer? Grant.
Alchemist?
No.
He had was it Alinea?
Alinea.
Yeah.
Alinea.
In Chicago, right?
Like,
I think it was. Yeah.
That is fucking wild. Like, it's just a different thing. I don't feel like they should be in the same category.
I remember working with a guy at the Melting Pot who worked at Charlie Trotter.
Really?
Yeah. He said it was like fucking like...
It's just different.
Yeah. He said it was just like fucking like another... This guy was just a...
Drill sergeant.
Yeah, drill sergeant. But like... He could honestly say to me like, oh, it was just like this machine that just... well-oiled. It just kept on going and it didn't buckle and it didn't change. And whoever came in, they could do it because he led it from the get-go, you know? Like he was always there. and it was all encompassing, and like they had like even the little things like when you do your prep, you get your little masking tape, herbs, today's date.
Yeah.
He had like little Charlie Trotter fucking stickers,
Of course.
and like stickers, and it would just be fucking perfect. And I remember him like telling me in the fridge, it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
It was just fucking beautiful.
Beautiful
like,
prep fridge.
like, just bricked in, and it just like everything was writing, and he was real particular about writing too. Like it had to be neat and shit. You couldn't just do a scribble and like the date and he always used to make people's names on it, so you could always find out where it came from.
That's such a fucking stitch up.
So he'd be like, he'd come
we
along
had
and
to initial stuff at fucking Jolly's as well.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I hated it. It was
It
like,
always,
oh no.
it was always like that, like it always like who did this. Now it's like you can kind of put it together if you're in tune with your kitchen enough. You can go, yep, I reckon I know who's done that.
Yeah.
Whereas in this place, nowhere to hide.
Yeah,
Your
we had to
initials
do
were
that
there.
at Jolly's as well. Tony would make us fucking initial things.
Yeah.
It was fucking like, oh no.
Oh no! Then you're like, shit, man. How do I make this fucking go away? And if there's only 3 of you, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah,
because
you're
like,
fucked.
mate, you're fucked. You're absolutely screwed. So you made sure it kept you on your toes. It was
Yeah.
good, man. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. I still have a beautiful relationship with food. I still love it. I still do love cooking, and I still love being a part of it. And it's probably because I've been able to probably develop ways of being able to manage different things in my life, and I try to put some effort into my physical aspects and do training and stuff like that to keep myself in a good spot, because I think if you can get your body in the best place and your mind at the best place, you can do the best that you can be. And that's what I look at it. Shit, it went a little bit dark then.
But the best thing about cooking, I feel like it shows you who you really are as a fucking human being.
Yes,
There's
100%.
not many trades where it does that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of trades actually just accentuate your worst habits.
Yeah, a lot of the time, yeah, for sure. If you're a lazy plumber, you're a lazy person, you become a lazy plumber. You know what I mean? But in a kitchen, you can come along and be lazy.
You'll get fired.
You get fired. You won't last. Or if you do, you'll get hated on, and you'll just be like, because you want everyone around you, because it's such a close-knit team, you want everyone around you to respect you, because, hey, man, like, sometimes it'll be like, hey, man, like, you're trying. Put the effort in and try, where some crew don't even try, man. Like, and it's just like, you get like, you go back in the day and you go, oh, that guy, he was pretty good, man, but then he doesn't do it anymore. And I remember, like, seeing chefs that did it back in the day when I was doing it and don't do it anymore, and they always say to me, like, oh, the reason why you can keep doing it, man, is because you like it. You love what you do. You like what you do, man, and like you put genuine passion into what you do, and passion sometimes can be a flaw, but I think if you really genuinely put passion into it and really enjoy what you do, then it doesn't become work, man. Like it doesn't become work, and I think. And then everything you do is based around it. Like I said, like you go on a trip, you go, okay, I'm going here. All right, better look up the restaurants.
Yeah.
Better look up where the bars are. Better look up where the best coffee is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all about, like, that for me, it's just that process. It's like, okay, what are we doing? Waking up. And lucky for me, my wife, Hayley, is very much into food and wine and everything like that too. So she's like, okay, well, where are we going for breakfast? We're going there. Apparently the coffee's fucking sick there. Oh, I'll go check it out. Sick. Bang, go there. We'll find
It
these
gets
little...
obsessive.
It does.
It gets very obsessive. I remember my ex fucking hated it. She didn't hate it. She was very food orientated. But in Japan, I was like, I'm telling you now, I'm only going there for food. So, like, the second we wake up to the moment I go to bed,
Yeah.
I'm going to be eating. I'm going to gorge. Like, because I want to get in as much as humanly possible.
100%. Yeah.
And I would be walking around Japan just like a fucking Michelin man, just walking, and I'd just be like, I need to eat. I'd see something, I'd be like, ugh.
I think it was the same with me. And when I was on my honeymoon in France, like my wife was like, Hayley was like, it was the funniest thing she's ever seen. She'd see me walk out of a bakery and walk straight into another one. And then she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, well, that guy makes really good macarons, but he said that guy makes really good and cannelé. So I went there and get cannelé, and I'm like, oh, wait. And then I remember, like, she just saw me walk in one, and then like, oh, didn't they have what you want? No, they did. And then he said I should go over there to get this. I went, okay, and I went there and I got that, and I was just like, yeah, and I was just, oh man, I love it, man. I think it's such a beautiful thing, man.
So Pirate Life with you, when you got with them, would have already sold to the family?
Like, literally just at the infancy of like being a part of the CUB. CUB originally bought it. A, B, and 1 Bev.
So are you pretty familiar? I'm not very familiar with the actual details of like who created Pirate Life, how it came about? Are you pretty familiar with all how it happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think it was one where MC, Jack and Red are the founders of the business, and they did a lot of stuff within the beer industry, especially Jack and Red. Red was predominantly, Jack and Red both did a lot of stuff with beer, and worked with some pretty big brew houses in Scotland. They went to a place called Brewdog, which is like a mecca. And then when they came back to Australia, and all of them, they said, "Oh, we're gonna make a brewery." And the story about it's pretty cool because
I've wanted to get one of them on for years.
Oh, mate,
I've really wanted to get one of them on. I just don't know. They're probably living life on a yacht right now.
No, Jack's very much a part of it. He lives down at Port Adelaide. He lives around the corner from the place. He's a very accessible guy. You know, you can come up to him and see him, and that's what makes the place so authentic.
It still feels family owned.
Yeah. He still has that authenticity to just come and but even with them, when MC was there too, MC would be having a drink at the bar and whatever, and some random would come up and, you know, talk about beer and see MC and not know who he is, and just start talking to him about beer, and then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, beautiful mate, yeah, how about you grab a hat and here's a t-shirt," and then the guy would later be like, who's that guy? I said, "Mate, he's the founding father." He was the one that created it. He's like, "Oh wow," you know, they're accessible, man, and that's what makes that brand and that business such a great business, is because accessible. They're accessible people, and they get around, and especially when they in the infancy of Pirate Life, they were everywhere, pouring beer and getting beer, putting it in people's hands, and that's what kind of guy, especially MC is. He's very much yeah, get here, get that, drink that. They cross the Nullarbor from Perth to fucking Adelaide, and they stop places giving beer, and they're crazy because when they first did their original core range of beer, they had the double IPA in a 500ml can.
Fuck.
And I bet you that's what probably someone at fucking CUB or something said, "Well, we sell, I don't know, these 4 beers. They're the ones that we sell. What's your kind of thing?" "Yeah, we got a dipper. It's a 500ml can of double IPA." People would have been like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Two of them, you're done.
but back in the day, it revolutionized the game, changed the game. And even little things like putting on the black tops.
Yeah. It looks aesthetically pleasing on a shelf.
Exactly. And it's just the little tiny things that Pirate Life did and become innovative, in the sense that I think Jack was saying to me once there was 60 breweries when Pirate Life came along. Now there's 300 plus. And unfortunately, it got, like anything, they see an opportunity and people take their chances, and a lot of breweries have closed, unfortunately, and that's just a part of the game and what kind of situation we are in at the moment. And the same with restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants that, unfortunately,
this year especially, man, I can name fucking 20 that aren't there anymore, just from 6 months, from September to now.
Yep.
It's wild.
It's a tough one, and I think people should,
I wouldn't say it's a dying industry, but it's so oversaturated now, and a lot of people think it's easier than it is. So you got a lot of people who have never even come from a hospitality background or a beer brewing background, and they think that passion will take them the way. No, it won't. No. Passion's very good. It's a lot of it, but it's not going to take you. It's not going to take you the whole way there.
No, I think passion can get you started. I remember a chef saying to me once, he goes, "Oh, what do you?" He said to a chef kid and whatever, and he goes, "Oh, what do you want to cook for?" And he goes, "Oh, I've got passion." And he goes, and he just looked at him and said, "Passion will get you in the fucking shit.
Yeah.
All right? Get knowledge. Yeah. Start learning, and then you'll be fine. Passion might get you the fire to keep you ticking away, but imagine doing this for 6 or 7 or 8, 9 months, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day, cooking fish, cooking beef, making pasta, making sauces, cleaning down your section every single day, and then we'll see where passion is in 9 months or a year." You know what I mean? Get the fundamentals and understand that this process and what we do, it's tough work, man, but it's rewarding. It is very, very rewarding, and it gives you skills that you'll be able to have for the rest of your life. You can go anywhere now, and you'll probably be able to slip into a kitchen and go, do your rock star and be like, "Yeah, chef, and a bit of this, get this going, mate, paste that, beautiful," and still pop out a fucking steak.
Yeah.
You still got those skills, and there's stuff that you can do at home. I think I always say it, man, everybody wants to be a chef.
It's very fun to show off at home.
Exactly. Everyone...
It's very fun.
Everyone wants to be a chef, but nobody wants to be a chef.
It's fucking... Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And I do have one more question for you before we leave.
Yep.
Because you seem like you're very enveloped in the western suburbs.
I grew up
and Port Adelaide.
Yes.
I've had 2 people on this podcast. One of them his name is Stoops. He's a graffiti artist and he's a furniture maker.
Okay.
And One of them is a friend of mine called Adam, and he runs Westside
Mushrooms. Yes, shout out to Adam, man. He's been
There's a big argument going on right now.
Okay. Am I leaning into this argument?
I'm just going to get your third opinion on it.
Okay.
Because I don't know, because I'm not from the western suburbs. I'm a south rat.
Yep.
So, is Port Adelaide in the west, or is Port Adelaide the port?
Oh, it's actually never really thought. I think the port is the port. Yeah.
The port is the port?
I would say the port is the port. Yeah.
Really?
I would say. I mean, yeah, it's like the west. It is theoretically the western. Oh man, like that's tough. That's tough, bruv. Like, man.
Because I noticed when you were talking about Port Adelaide, you were calling it the port.
Yeah,
it's the port.
It's the port.
It's like Glenelg's.
Yeah, it is. It is
Glenelg.
What it is. It's Port Adelaide's like this unique kind of like ecosystem. It's like, it's got like culture. It's got so much, the old buildings and everything that happened there, and the infancy of this state can be traced back to that area. You know what I mean? Like the port, but also it's got a dark underbelly. Like it's gritty. It's got
very gritty.
It's gritty. It's got it's got some fucking real like.
It's got history.
Yeah, it does, and it also has so much going for it. But people just don't aren't willing to give it the opportunity it deserves. Like so many people I know, they're like, oh, I can't get down the port. It's 20 minutes away. Motherfucker, everything. And it's Adelaide, bro. Everything's 20 minutes away.
In Adelaide.
Your house from my house is 20 minutes away,
in Adelaide, 20 minutes is too far.
Yeah.
But when you go, like you lived in Melbourne,
yeah,
that's like down the road.
Oh, man, you go into Europe and you'll walk 40 minutes to find a restaurant.
Yeah.
But in Adelaide, no, I can't go 20 minutes down Port Road.
I struggle driving fucking down the hill. Like, I can't do it. Unless I'm going to eat or there's an event, I just can't bring myself to drive past Marion. I'm like, it's too far.
Yeah, well,
it's too far.
I suppose like crew like in the eastern suburbs or the southeastern suburbs, like Hyde Park, we used to joke that, they don't pass Green Hill Road. Once they get there, the car stops working.
Yeah, it's over.
They'll start getting dizzy and shit. They're like, "Ooh, shit, better turn back."
So the port is the port.
I believe the port is the port.
I believe the port is the port. From Rocky Oliveira, head chef and the man behind the menu of Pirate Life. If you haven't been there, check it out. Such a fun place to go and have a drink.
Man, absolutely. And if you do come down, come say good day, man. Most times I'm in the kitchen, man. And, love to connect, 100%.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Cheers, bruv.